think for both of us, my business partner and I included, we're big into community and responsibility and giving back. I've started a nonprofit as well that serves the Asheville area, where we connect with group homes, with women's shelters, with all kind of the most vulnerable people in the community. And we go and we serve with our time and our effort. We've also had inmates to entrepreneurs. We put thousands and thousands of incarcerated men and women through our programs. We go into the jails. We teach entrepreneurship, and we've had so many success stories, so much so that it turned into an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. So if you want to check that out, it's heartwarming. We've even hired folks from our programs into our companies, and we've been able to do that for many years. And I would just challenge everyone. Like, a lot of people think, well, once I got all the money and all the time, I'm going to go and serve and give back. That is really a false way to think. And in fact, I think it might just be a way to kick the can down the road. Like, what I think is, like, you don't need any money. All you need is your hands and feet. Sometimes you don't even need that. You just need to give it a little bit of time. And where your treasure is, your heart is also. If you go ahead and start serving your community and start giving back, here's the real gift. You're going to get way back more than you ever gave helping other people. And that's what we don't truly understand sometimes. So it's a key pillar for us, something we believe in truly, and it's something we're going to always continue to do until we can't breathe any longer.
Welcome to another episode of Blueprints to Punch List. I got my co-host today, Ken. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah, we had to run home and let your wife in and left her keys out, lock the keys out. It happens.
Yeah.
One of those
fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And with us today, we have James Hatfield of LiveSwitch. Welcome to the show, James.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here. Looking forward to the conversation, guys.
Yeah, likewise. What you guys are doing, you have some really cool technology. LiveSwitch is a leading communication platform that specializes in real-time video solutions to enhance business operations and human connections. So that's a mouthful there. But before we get into the show, James, one of the things we'd like to ask all of our guests is, what is a recent win that you had? And it could be business related, family, health, just something that comes to mind.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a business win and a personal win all wrapped together. So we just launched AI into our platform, and 2 weeks ago, my wife goes down and checks our heat and air unit, and the water pan is full of water, like just to the brim. So she calls a technician, and he's coming down, and I say, hey, stop for a second. I just want to send you a quick text, and you go over there and take a 30-second video and act like an ignorant customer. Just tell it like it is. And I'm here in Asheville, North Carolina, so he was a country boy, a young guy, gets in there, and he's like, well, there's water in the water pan and condensation, and it's dripping right here. And we run it through the AI, and the AI comes back and says, hey, the most likely cause is you've got a plug in the drain line. You need to loosen that up, clean it out. There's most likely algae in there. So he goes over, unscrews it. Algae starts flying all over him, and it cleans it out, fixes it. His jaw is on the floor, and he goes, can I buy stock in your company? And so it was a personal win for business and a personal win for my HVAC unit. So I was pretty happy about that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. You couldn't have planned that any better, right?
No, I couldn't.
Perfect.
It was
timing.
perfect, because in the next week we had a restoration guy come over because I had another issue for some mold, and he used the stuff, and it totally told him how to mitigate it, take care of it, the equipment to use, and his jaw was on the ground too. I was like, this is crazy. So we've been having an interesting couple of weeks, and I think my new sales method is just bring a bunch of people over to the house and have the house fall apart.
There you go. There you
Your
go.
wife won't appreciate that, but
No, but she's the one calling all these guys. So maybe she's keeping them busy, trying to keep our community taken care of.
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, that's a great win. So I kind of alluded to it, but can you give us a little bit of background on what LiveSwitch is and where it came from, how it got started? And then we'll dive into some of the things that you just mentioned with the AI, and huge topic on everybody's minds today. But just maybe start with the origin story of how LiveSwitch got started and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, was a contractor. I owned painting and power washing companies for many, many years, owned and operated, had multiple crews. And so I know what it's like to live on a ladder, and then made the jump into technology about 20 years ago But most recently, and I'll tell other part of my story later, but most recently with this company, we were reinventing the 911 phone call with the chief of police in Washington, D.C., really trying to figure out how to tap into a camera to stream that to a police car, but no app, a compromised citizen who you can't train them at all. But so we found a way to just send a text, they tap it, and we're into the camera and we can stream it. And we were like, well, who else could use this? And so all of my home services and my business partner used to be a contractor and running landscaping companies, came back to us and we're like, oh, we can just use this to save trips in the truck because we all love windshield time. It's the most expensive thing I do is I put one of my hourly wage guys in one of my trucks burning up my gas, driving across the state just to get some work done. So this is a great way to put eyes on projects quick, see what they see, and then we can run all of that stuff through AI, which is wild, which is what I was talking about earlier with the HVAC and the restoration company. But that's a bit as fast as I could origin story of where all this came from.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so just again to kind of pause there. So the chief of police from DC comes to you guys or
Yep.
somebody, one of your founders, and goes, "Hey, we have a problem." And he goes, "Yeah, I think I can solve this." Or where did that idea
So
even
if I
come
back
from?
up a little bit,
Yeah,
this is a 16-year-old company, and most everybody on listening has used our stuff and seen it. You just didn't know it was us. We're kind of like the Intel inside, but with no sticker. We're one of a few companies in the world that do live video for anything. So we're working with big governments. We're working with huge companies. Like if you remember back in COVID when NBA had the bubble and their fans all in the stadium virtually, and then WWE wrestling, we powered all of that. Like we just did the Super Bowl the last 3 years. So if you go to a stadium and scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron, that's our stuff. So because we've been doing that for so long, that's why we got a knock on the door from the chief of police to reinvent the nation's 911 call. So I worked with him personally, directly, and I had to come up with a way to do this. And about 3.5 years ago, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was like, I got it. We're going in through a text message, and that's going to be the way we get into these cameras. And we made it super simple. And from there, it's like, well, who else can use the technology? And it literally reminded me of the Nextel walkie-talkies I used to use all the time. I have no idea what happened to those things, but I loved it. I'd go around in my truck, I'd talk to my team, and it reminded me of that. It's like, oh, it's the Nextel walkie-talkie, but with your eyes. And the cool thing was the guy who first kind of stumbled upon it I was like, oh, I got it, is I was talking to this guy. He takes care of the Nashville Tennessee Titans NFL football team. He was in the FBI for 20 years and he's taking care of the team. And I'm showing him all the emergency response stuff. And he's like, this is super cool, but I got the stupidest question. I'm like, what is it? He's like, this stadium in Nashville is huge. And sometimes simply the trash cans will fall over and one of my team members will be on the other side. And I usually have to hop in my golf cart. He's like, can I just text them and they show me and I can talk them through it? Because that would help me out a lot. And I was like, oh yeah, boom. And that was the eureka moment. Like, okay, this is the Nextel walkie-talkie 2.0.
There you go. Visual.
So is the LiveSwitch, as we're talking to you today, is that an iteration of that original idea, or is this a separate company, or altogether, or?
Same company, just an iteration of that idea that we took it to the next level. And now as you layer in, it can record. We've got laser guidance systems. We've got AI all built in behind it. And, you can use it in all type of facets. And I know we'll talk through all that stuff, but it's an iteration of it and it continues to iterate. And we have more very cool things on the horizon that'll just blow your mind what things are going to be capable of doing as we implement this into your contracting business.
And it's just simply text, right? So obviously the enterprise or the business needs to have some sort of subscription with you, but when it goes to customers, it's just text it, they click the link and they're there. No sort of app to download software or anything like that.
No, we don't do apps. You can even use it within your team as well. So if a junior tech needs to talk to a senior tech and the senior tech's back somewhere else, you can just send the text message, tap it, you instantly connect, and it's tuned up for third-party assistance. So this is not like a FaceTime call at all. Mm-hmm. In fact, for the person that boots on the ground, like if you got a subcontractor walking around or a superintendent, they're going to be looking like it's a reverse of a FaceTime call. They see themselves big and you small, and they can flip the camera, walk you around. You can take remote photos. It's recording everything right into the cloud. And then you can take notes, share screens if you need to go through blueprints, if you're doing that. Additionally, maybe you just don't need to see it on the other end, but someone's like, hey, I accidentally was excavating and I nailed a pipe and now there's water everywhere. Well, the project manager can send a text and say, hey, take a video of that. I need to show it to the customer while their timeline and their budget just got wrecked. So they can click on it, do a quick video recording. It pings the PM. The PM can review it, send it on to customers, send it to insurance, send it to the crew. And, it's helpful for documentation, especially when you're doing the punch list at the end of the day. You literally can just walk around and do video and dictate what you're seeing. And then we can run all that stuff through the AI, which is crazy what you can do with the video afterwards.
Yeah, there's so many. Just as you're talking through that, my mind is just going a million places. Like right before starting here, I got a text from a clinic that we finished recently, and we've had some issues with the flooring that seems like it's bubbling and starting to come up. And I was like, all right, can you text me some pictures? And it's literally like another way to interpret this and to integrate it and go, okay, here's a link. Can you just show me real quick? And we can capture that and send it onto the team. It's going to be coming out diagnosing instead of maybe doing a FaceTime. And then, that gets forwarded and then it gets lost in translation. By the time the guy that actually fixes it is going out there, they're just having, the fifth, sort of passed down as opposed to getting the real information from. And the other part of it too, we're talking is like, the biggest, I would say, single biggest problem and challenge right now in construction is labor. Yes, costs are high in materials, but generally it goes back to having a labor force that is either, you have your tradesman who's been doing it for 25, 30 years and they're getting up there in age and they're not moving as fast and they've been beaten up and been on construction sites forever. But then you got young guys who are just, you can't train them fast enough to get back out there on the field. So how is this technology, and maybe you can give us some examples that you've seen of construction companies that have used it to some degree with the senior and junior, whether it's a superintendent, a technician, or otherwise. Just what have you seen in construction with this technology?
Well, let's use that exact example. So the clinic had the bubbling floor and the person's calling you up saying, hey, there might be something going on. So what you can do now in the future is not only could you text them and say, hey, just take a video of it and I'll take a look at it, and then you get the video, or you can now put a QR code on property for someone to scan for anything. So any future issues, scan the QR code, put in your info, and take a video and talk through what is going on and the issues that you're seeing. Then when that video goes up into the cloud, you can run it through AI. Like as an example, hey, how do I mitigate what's going on with the flooring? Tell us and talk about the mitigation plan and see if this is a real issue. Out will pop a report of how to mitigate the flooring, which you can then share the recorded video with your team, the output with your team, and then maybe you're sending a junior person out there and they're driving out to go fix it and they're on property now getting ready to fix everything. And maybe they stumble upon something where they're like, crap, like I don't know the answer to this. So now they can call the senior technician. Senior technician can video in, start talking through, and if they can't figure it out, run that entire recorded session back through the AI saying like, hey, we need some help. We can't figure out what it is. Here's what's going on. Help us with this. And then you'll get another report on top of it. So, I mean, you can do all kinds of things to where you're helping with staff augmentation, but also kind of speed to lead, because when the flooring's bubbled up, that person's a little pissed off, right? So everything's going to be about speed, and if they can do that. So like we've got restoration companies hanging, like ServPros hanging these QR codes all over commercial buildings, and you can even put it to where they'll know where it's at, like location aware. It's crazy.
Awesome. So on the QR code, how does that, like, for example, if we were to put a QR code out there, right? Is there something within it that, okay, that you scan the QR code, you take the video, whoever's on site, and then we get pinged or we get a notification that something came up at this site to review?
Yep, that's exactly right. You can have a general one and it'll ping you, or you can even make it site aware. Like maybe it's this certain clinic in Orlando that you want to give them white glove service, that you can even make them a special QR code. It takes like 30 seconds to create. You download it, put it on whatever you want, and then you hang it up there. And then you could even route it to that specific project manager or whoever owns that relationship. So they're getting pinged. They know it's from that Orlando clinic. They're getting to see that video, and then they can now talk back and call back the person on property that has seen the issue, as well as start to run all that recorded video through AI and start sharing it with the team. Exactly right.
Very cool.
Yeah, the use cases are really just unlimited, and the fact that administrator at the clinic, they don't have to have the app downloaded, so we don't have to send it to all of our facilities teams that are working out there. Some of our crews even that are working late nights. At the end of the day, just here, make sure you take this QR code and upload some pictures and videos into the file, and we'll get it in the morning to see what actually happened. Because that's another issue, right? Is we do a ton of overnight work where it's the clinic's got to stay operational. So we're coming in during their off hours on the weekends at night, and our crews that come in, yes, we'll get the pictures, but a lot of times the pictures will only, they don't tell the full story.
No, you need, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video's worth 10,000, right?
Sure.
So being able to have that right on property that anyone can scan, even if you send a subcontractor over, somebody else locally to take those videos, and it still goes right up for that clinic in Orlando or wherever it might be that you're working on. And another nice thing, because there's no app download, there's also nothing ever stored on an employee device or on a customer device. That's a liability, right? And you don't want to scroll through all the photos of your family and stuff just to go to a Dropbox, just to send it. Nobody likes doing that, right? And sometimes for some folks, be complicated. We want to make this stuff, dead simple. So when that person scans it, not only can they take the video and it just goes right to the cloud, it's all SOC 2 certified, which means it's extremely safe. Department of Defense uses this stuff. It's safer than a phone call, right? But also it'll even work with, you have limited and no internet, because some of these facilities that you're constructing are either in the middle of nowhere, maybe in a basement, maybe in an attic. And so what it'll do is it'll still record everything. And even if you get to crap internet, like 3G or LTE, it'll still upload. I've got the third largest solar install company using this stuff, and they're out in the middle of nowhere in the USA. And we had to come up with a way where if you're in the middle of a swamp, how can you still, take the video and then eventually get that up into the cloud? So there's a lot of little details that are going on that really are tuned in for this type of experience for your customer and for your team.
Yeah. What comes to mind for me is, this can be specifically the QR code specific to the project. Could be used through project execution and on, right? Like we could create that QR code, hand it to the superintendent, set certain milestones that we want to record video. It uploads to that specific project, and then it's the continued kind of item that the center itself can use while they're operational to identify whether it be warranty issues or new issues, right? It can kind of be a complete, project execution and after. That to me is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then especially if it's over the lifespan of the property, right? Where you've got photos and videos from a year ago. Like we have unlimited storage and we store it indefinitely. So you could go back and, after you bury a pipe, you might forget, where it was or what it looked like 2 years from now. So doing proper documentation, doing those punch lists, making sure all that is recorded, not just in photos, but in video. But in addition, you can take the video and there's also audio. Like when you're talking through things, you can translate it to Spanish or any other language. If English is a second language, you can take that transcript and say, hey, what are the action items from this? You can take this and say, I want a CRM entry out of this or my project management entry, because I haven't found a person on this planet that loves entering in all of their details into their project management or CRM. So if we can do that for you, and plus we forget stuff, right? As I'm writing, I'm like, crap, I forgot that. So now just take all the audio when someone's talking through everything and now make it, project management system ready or, CRM ready. So we're just trying to save time across the entire spectrum for every single position in the company, including the customer. So, your imagination is really the limitation of what this stuff can do.
I do want to touch on one thing you mentioned in for us, you know, specifically in the construction industry, that you mentioned something about being able to take a video, talk through that video, and the AI will essentially convert to another language. That really caught my attention. Can you kind of dive into what that process looks like?
It's so easy. So all you're going to do, and right now we have to use phones, right? Because that's what we all carry. Eventually, we're all going to have it on our face. Have you seen all these Meta
Meta and
AI, yeah,
yeah,
glasses? Well,
Ray-Ban.
for technicians, that's going to be huge, right? Like it'll free up your hands, and then we can run the video, audio, and everything, and put it side by side with code to make sure we don't burn the building down, as an example. But to your point, for English as a second language, I just get up and let's say I'm doing my punch list, I'm talking through everything, I'm video recording it all. It's going to go up into the cloud. Then we have an AI prompt that says convert it to Spanish. And you just hit convert, and it'll take a whole report, and then whatever. And you can even say condense it, like convert the entire transcript to Spanish, but also give me the top 4 or 5 things that we need to take action on, that we need to. So make it. The more you tell it and prompt it what you want to do, the better it'll even be. Like you can go to like a Chat GPT or a Gemini or whatever you use and help it create the prompt for you. Like, hey, I'm really wanting English as a second language, specifically Spanish, as a prompt. And then I'm also, a contractor. We're doing a construction work for a clinical company, and I want to make sure that my team knows exactly what to do from the punch list that I have in Spanish. Mm-hmm. And you just keep telling. Like I've got a guy who even gets all his parts. He's in Canada from this Home Depot in a certain town, and he says, "Hey, and I want all my part lists and prices from this specific Home Depot." And it gives him a link to every piece he needs, the price to every piece he needs, and it converts it to Canadian for. I mean, I'm telling you, your imagination. What I'm hoping all the listeners are thinking is like, I want your wheels turning on the power of using live video, recorded video, photos, and AI all in one, and how it can really be. I consider it like my Iron Man suit. I love Iron Man. It's like, it's my version of Jarvis, So think of it like that, as you're a co-pilot, not something that's going to come and take your job. It won't do that, but it wants to be something that enhances you as a professional, and you still need to keep everything kind of like, yep, this looks good. But, you want to be able to start thinking about this, because AI and live video and all this is disrupting every industry in our country right now.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we've had extensive conversations. Just even yesterday, we're probably riffing on it for about an hour, just the possibilities of AI, what it can do, and how we're bringing it to the construction industry. And we were excited to have you on because of what you guys are doing without even knowing all the AI components of that. So this, going back to our example of the scenario of the technician being in the field, can they also pull up what was previously recorded? They have access to like a limited dashboard of the project, and I'm guessing that could be set to different restrictions on who has access to what.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You can have restrictions. You can set it up. You can do an entire project so they can roll through all the photos and videos, transcripts, AI across the entire project. You can even upload additional documentation if you need it. Like if you need to add the blueprints to there or links to things, you can put that up there as well. And then you can even go back previously, and let's say you forgot to run an AI report on maybe something you did a year ago. You can still have the AI run it on a project or pictures, or just a set of pictures from a year ago. Whatever you feed the AI, it can review. But anyone can pull that up, see the historical, and you can tag things too. So if you want to tag something, maybe it's good for training. Maybe it's something you really need to tag that's around, hey, after we reburied a pipe, or this is electrical work, or whatever. You can go in there and tag it and filter it. And, we want to get you to the data you need as quick as possible, no matter when you did it.
Yeah, that was something that came to mind, and pretty cool, as when we're talking about, say, the life cycle of a building or commercial real estate, whatever it is. If you've got 16 years of data and you're trying to go back to when the underground sanitary was put in the ground 16 years ago, that's a ton of stuff to go through if it's actually utilized through the life cycle, right? So being able to call upon that using AI or using those tags to say, all right, what am I looking for here? Underground sanitary installation, boom.
That's right.
You're able to find it. That's pretty neat.
how it runs.
Yeah, I think what you're going to find is AI is like the buzzword, right? Everyone's got AI. And if you say AI, the market cap of your company instantly goes up. But that's going to be nonsense in the next, I think 6 months to a year at the most, because it'll be like saying, oh, my contracting company uses electricity to build. What?
Right.
Like it's because they know, of course, you use AI. The next big piece that everyone needs to be aware is what you're speaking to, which is what we call the data moat. All of those photos, all those videos, all that documentation. You want to be getting ahead of that right now, because it's going to do a number of things for you. As you document your process, that's good for new hires, good for enhancing that. Also, by documenting everything now, instead of writing everything out, you can just talk through your process and have the AI prompt say, hey, document my process. Because if you ever go to sell your construction company, a construction company that has all their processes documented as well as everything recorded is also going to help you in your entire value of your company when you go to exit that or be acquired, right? There's so many reasons why data and recording things now is so critical, whether you use our stuff or not, whatever. I'm telling you that you need to be recording and taking photos and taking all this data now, because it'll pay off in liquid gold for you and your organization year over year over year. Get as much data as you can about your company and your projects as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of, I'll say, organizations, folks out there that look at, a lot of these small to medium sized service companies, right? And they're like, we're going to make, a ton of money by just grabbing these up. The problem is they don't understand operational stuff. So to be able to include that in the sale or be a part of what they receive in the sale, to me is invaluable. And like, to your point, it increases the value of the company.
Oh, by leaps and bounds. You'll get an extra multiple just because you did that,
Right.
and it's not difficult. The stuff we're talking about right now is made for our industry, right? If you try to go to a ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, whatever your flavor is, it's not tuned up for construction. You can use it for construction, but it's not tuned up for a team. It's not tuned up to share with your clients. It's not really tuned up to be a centralized spot. It doesn't even do all the video and photos. Like, it's cool. And honestly, anyone who's overwhelmed by AI right now, my biggest charge to you is just go play with ChatGPT, Gemini, or Grok. Just go play with it, even in your daily life. Help it do whatever for you, right? Like when new tools, like when I got new paint sprayers for my painting company, we spent the first weeks just playing with it. And then we started screwing things up, like accidentally squirting paint on the roof where we shouldn't have done it, and not using the shields the right way and all that crap. But you start with playing, then from playing, you start to implement, then from implementation, it's standard operating. Then from there, now I'm painting houses in half the time at double the quality. And it's better for the customer and it's better for my bottom line. So this is how these tools get woven in. But the longer you put off AI and this type of live video in your business that we're talking about, the harder it's going to be, and you're going to have your competition run laps around you. And just start now. Like it just start and play, and then make it real. That's what I'm trying to say. The adoption curve is real, but this stuff is not as hard as you think it is. It just sounds difficult.
Yeah, pretty intuitive, right? It's like, grab your phone, include it in the process, record what you're doing, and that's really the additional step, which is, most of us, to your point, have our phone in our hand, maybe not pointing at whatever we're looking at and talking through and walking through, but that simple task gives you the ability to go through all of it.
Exactly. And then once it's up there, it's a simple one click, like run a remediation plan on this, run a customer review on this, turn this all into Spanish. It's all one click. So your team doesn't need to be thinking about this stuff and training. This stuff can already be implemented, and you might have one champion in your company that champions the prompts that you guys need. And then from there, everyone can just use it without thinking. We don't really want someone to have to go train on, and nobody wants to anyway. I don't want to train on software anyways. I don't want to do it either.
The more training is involved, the less it's going to get used. And that's just the bottom line. So as intuitive and easy you can make something, the more it's going to get implemented. People are actually going to use the benefits. So, but the one analogy I want to share, I heard this the other day, is that if you're not using AI today, it's like working and operating in the world without Google, having access to Google and the internet 5 years ago. And then you 1,000 times that with AI because of everything that it has, the capabilities to handle. So, and to your point with the painting company, I was talking to my brother about this, and he's like, well, imagine if you had this $800 piece of equipment that was brand new and it was going to save you hours and hours on your job. And all you had to do is go and buy it and implement it. Well, it's like, yes, that's very true, except all you have to do now is it's free. So you just have to go and pick it up and literally put it into work and put it to use. But to your point, AI is sweeping every industry across the board. I do think that there's still hesitation from people. Like we're still seeing, even in our company, right? Like not everybody's taking full advantage of it, utilizing it, don't even have it on their phone, which is just, to me, that's crazy. Like I couldn't live without it, but there's still that curve that some people will have to wait. And it's like the BlackBerry that nobody wanted the iPhone without a button is like, I wanted 27 buttons. Like, no, you just had to wait for that to catch up to you. So
yeah. And I think a lot of it is people, one, they don't want to learn the next thing. They're just like, dude, I'm fine how things are, right?
Yep.
Two, they won't tell you this because there's some shame involved, but they're intimidated by it. Or three, they just don't believe in it. They're like, it's a bunch of fairy tales and, magic beans and all that stuff. I totally understand. Like, yeah. I'm training a bunch of contractors now. I work at the Breakthrough Academy and I'm a coach. And a lot of it is just demystifying it and I call it AI for the rest of us. I grew up blue collar family. My father built the entire house we lived in. Like I'm used to working on engines, working with my hands. I've been around crews like that. And I think we do get teased sometimes as being like the knuckle draggers of technology, being in the blue collar realm, but I don't believe that's true. In fact, I think it's just that people have made engineers who have, I make fun of them, they have soft hands, they ain't never worked a hard day in their life. But they over-engineer stuff. They've never been on a job site. They don't know. We got the engineers coding and we've not had someone to represent our demographic. And so that's where my business partner and I come in. That's why I think we're one of the fastest growing companies in the country right now, is because we are bridging the gap of like, hey, let's just make it for the rest of us. And we love one-click solutions. I like starting my truck with one click. I like starting up my paint sprayer with one pull, and I know what tool I need to get the job done. So if we can take it down to one click, it saves me hours. It does the job I need to. There's going to be trust built right there, and it'll just get used every time. And people will be like, I can't believe I used to do it the other way. But we've got to make the leap. So again, back to go play with the AI, have fun with it, play with the tools, and then we're going to make it practical and tactical, and we'll get it right into your business process so you don't even think twice anymore.
So speaking of that, can we maybe do a quick demo of what that looks like? Would we be able to? I know when we spoke last time, we were able to do it. I don't know if you're set up or be able to show us.
Yeah. Let me see if this will screen share really quick. And in fact, I got one of the records I have right now is a roofer, right? Let me show you this before we even do the demo because it'll give you a good idea. So this actually is the host for Roofer. If you've heard of roofer.com, this is their podcast host. And he ran out to the front of his house. And I sent him a text, and he's showing his house off. This is his actual house. And we put together a prompt for roofing. All right. So literally it's a couple-minute video, and he's showing the front of his house. And we ran a report on it with an AI, what's called a roofing prompt. And we want it to show us the pitch, show us any pre-existing damage, show us anything that it needs to alert us to. Well, first thing it did, and from that video, which you guys just saw, it gave us the estimated pitch. It says a 512, which is moderate, or a reasonable range, 412 to 612. It's walkable. It's talking about observed conditions, recent hail, vegetation hanging over the roof needs to be taken care of, how to mitigate damage, the inventory list of all the things you're going to need to mitigate that issue, the maintenance that needs to be done after you've done install, and then a full replacement report and recommendations of immediate, and then what you need to repair now or in replace, and all from a video with a bottom line. And I mean, this stuff is crazy. Right. So, I mean, the host of Roofer there, his mind was just absolutely blown. So what we're going to do is Dave and I are I'm going to be the senior, contractor. You'll be the junior contractor. Right. And you'll pretend that you're on property and I need to see what's going on. Or maybe I'm the project manager and you're like, hey, we got a problem over here. So what I'm going to do, and I think I still have you in the system, Dave, no, I don't.
Or Wilson, maybe.
There it is, Dave Wilson. Is
There
this
it
your
is.
number?
Yep, that's it.
All right, great. So I'm sending Dave a text right now. So he's going to pick up his phone. So again, it was internal. Like I just had to look up Dave's name. I just hit send. He's getting a text right now. On my end, I'm on a big computer and I can see in full screen. And then it's even putting a virtual background behind me because a lot of my guys work in their trucks and it makes them look more pro. When all Dave had to do is tap yes, allow yes. And when you look
There
at your
it is.
phone, hit the mute button on your, so we don't get too much background on the podcast.
Got
But
it.
now what's happening is Dave can see himself large and me small because he is my superintendent on property, right? And he has a flip camera button. So there's another button on there, Dave, that you can tap and flip the camera. And I can start taking remote photos. Like I'm seeing a video camera there, tons of cords. And he could walk me around the studio. He's in the studio right now. And I'm just taking photos. There's lines. There's, hey, all right, smile. And I'm taking pictures. I can take notes. I can even laser guide him around. So I'm like, let's go back over here. Let me get a picture of that. And so on his phone,
I'm seeing
he can
all
see
that
me
on my
laser.
phone as he's doing that. Mm-hmm.
Yep, he sees
Yeah.
laser guidance. So now I can see the producer over there.
Yeah,
I can even take notes if I want to take some notes. And then I can share my screen if I need to walk Dave through a blueprint or whatever, the project plans. All right, easy peasy. So we can just hang up there. And Dave, why don't you talk about your experience with that? Like, how was that for you?
Extremely complicated. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're all intuitive when it comes to receiving text messages. I mean, when I get a text message from an appointment that I have, to say, just checking in to say, yeah, I'm still good or not. Like it was as simple as that, Yeah. I don't see how it would be any more simpler. Whereas before it's like, okay, now you got to send them the link or download this app, or now you got to upload, a photo or a video that is too large to sync. So like that's the comparative is not even really a comparison.
Yeah. To your
That's
point,
right.
one click, right? It's like just sit, receive the text message, click it and go.
Yeah.
And now I've got remote photos. I was taking photos. There you are. I can even like come into the photo and I can draw on the screen. So I definitely am going to give you a bigger mustache because that's what you do.
We go.
There we
I've
go.
been working on that. But
That's an imprint. We want long hair back here too. There you
we
go. And maybe some sunglasses.
And the rock band
Right.
again.
perfect.
There we go. So now you got your Chris Stapleton going on.
I like it.
And then I can comment on it, like looking good. I can share this with anybody I want to. I can share it with my team. I can download it. Now I can put it on the internet for everyone to see because that's what I'm going to do. And then I can come in and I can watch the video that we recorded and I can do whatever I want with this. I can download it. I can put it on my website. I can share it. And, if I need to send it to the customer to why we had our timeline busted or the budget busted, right? And it's all right here. And then we can run AI reports on it. This is our AI. We have a little black Labrador is our mascot for our AI. We call him Lucky. And you can run any kind of reports on here, right? I got pest control, restoration damage, commercial remodel, tree removal, and anything I can imagine, I can create these prompts, right?
So those are customizable?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Completely
And
customizable.
You
And
guys
I can-
create those prompts, or the user creates those prompts based on the need?
Both.
Okay.
A lot of times we find our users creating their own prompts based on the need. Like maybe I want to do a Dave studio prompt for podcast. All right. Review my studio and tell me how to improve it. Give a report. Right.
Our producers listening. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Take
Now I've
notes.
just saved that prompt and I can go back to that session. So I got all the video. And then if I go back to our session that we just had live right on the podcast here, I'm going to go and I'm going to run this new prompt called the Dave Studio Podcast prompt. So now it's reviewing the studio. It's reviewing all the photos, everything, and it'll come back. And I have no idea. And that was a pretty crappy prompt. It's probably one of the worst prompts I've written, right? It's 1 sentence long.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I could go to ChatGPT and say, help me create a podcast studio prompt where I want to have a report of things I can improve or any assessment of everything.
Sure.
And then it can really start to do it. But we'll let the AI dog go and we'll come back to it later. if you guys want to keep asking questions and keep the podcast going.
Yeah, I mean, so what we've went over some AI features that I think are really cool. What's your favorite that maybe we haven't brought up yet?
I mean, my personal favorite, like for me, is just being able to use it as a handyman around the house, right?
Yeah.
Like I can go and literally take a video. My ice machine and one of my refrigerators isn't working right now. I could say, hey, this is a Samsung. Here's the model. Take a video, show it, show a bunch of pictures, and then it'll come back and it can even tell me how to fix the ice machine step by step. And it is blow away. So I love that. You can use it on anything. You can use it on your vehicles. You can. I don't recommend this, but you can have it do a medical assessment. And one of our staff members had one of their family members tell them what was going on. They went to the doctor the next day, and the AI had already nailed the diagnosis.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this can do anything that you can set your mind to, and we've got a lot more cool stuff on the way.
So what is your biggest challenge right now that you guys face with LiveSwitch that maybe something our viewers can help or something we can think through, or just what comes to mind when it comes to a challenge?
Yeah, the biggest challenge is getting the word out, right? And having people get more comfortable starting to use AI and live video in their business. This is new, right? We're carrying around these incredible phones. I mean, we're spending tons of money on these now, and they're as powerful or more powerful than our computer. We need to use the best tool we've got in our pocket, and we're not even utilizing it, but now for sending emails, sending text, and taking a few photos, right? I mean, and maybe accessing apps. I mean, that's just like child's play compared to what your phone can do.
With it.
It's crazy. And so that's the biggest challenge, is getting people to come along, trust what's going on there, and have it be your, Iron Man suit. I find that to be the biggest challenge. Other than that, like when people get it, use it, you're using it the next day, and that's not our problem, but it's getting people to make the leap of faith into a new technology. And that happens every time. Like when the iPhone came out, the iPad came out, Gmail, everyone from their AOL accounts, right? So it's just the nature of the beast.
I like your analogy with the Iron Man suit, right? Like, this is just put it on and go about your normal business, right? And it'll do what it does to enhance your operations, to enhance what you're doing, what you're seeing, and everything. I really like that analogy.
So one of your core values is responsibility, and I've seen that your co-founder has founded a program, a nonprofit about 30 years ago, Inmates, to entrepreneurs, that you guys are heavily invested in giving back to the community and think through that mindset. I think that's part of a huge fabric of our company, of our DNA, is like if you have success in any kind of endeavor, I think part of that is you have to give back. Like that's just, it's a must. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit and share what you guys are doing with that program, or just what comes to mind with that core value of yours.
Yeah, I think for both of us, my business partner and I included, we're big into community and responsibility and giving back. I've started a nonprofit as well that serves the Asheville area, where we connect with group homes, with women's shelters, with all kind of the most vulnerable people in the community. And we go and we serve with our time and our effort. We've also had inmates to entrepreneurs. We put thousands and thousands of incarcerated men and women through our programs. We go into the jails. We teach entrepreneurship, and we've had so many success stories, so much so that it turned into an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. So if you want to check that out, it's heartwarming. We've even hired folks from our programs into our companies, and we've been able to do that for many years. And I would just challenge everyone. Like a lot of people think, well, once I got all the money and all the time, I'm going to go and serve and give back. That is really a false way to think. And in fact, I think it might just be a way to kick the can down the road. Like what I think is, like, you don't need any money. All you need is your hands and feet. And sometimes you don't even need that. You just need to give it a little bit of time. And where your treasure is, your heart is also. If you go ahead and start serving your community and start giving back, here's the real gift. You're going to get way back more than you ever gave helping other people. And that's what we don't truly understand sometimes. So it's a key pillar for us, something we believe in truly, and it's something we're always going to continue to do until we can't breathe any longer.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that's that. It's the nice thing about giving, right? It's certainly you're giving up your time, you're giving up your resources, you're giving up your money, but what you get in return, the fulfillment is exponential, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Guys, you ready to have your mind blown?
Yes, let's see what we got.
All
right, the report is back. I just got a report back that Lucky, our AI dog, is back, and I'm going to read you. The prompt was so simple, right, guys? It was just, and I did it live. And here's what we got. Studio review. This report is based on media analysis you shared. Consistent themes across the files, a strong branded backdrop with blueprints to punch list, a geometric feature wall, visible cabineting, a cabling clutter near the desk monitor, mixed lighting, sometimes dim, sometimes harsh, blinds introduced variable natural lighting, occasional soft focus and camera height angle that isn't always eye level. What's working? Brand presence, clear title, visually distinctive wall, memorable on brand, core gear, dedicated mic, lighting indicate you've prioritized quality. Overall aesthetic, modern, professional, canvas to build on. Key issues to address. Lighting consistency, mix of single source light, dim scenes, daylight blinds, color exposure, visual clutter, cables, crates, background objects. I mean, it keeps going on, doesn't it, guys? Priority fixes for 1 to 2 hours at low cost. I mean, and then it keeps going. Lighting plan, then a framing and lensing, background and set design, audio and room treatment, cable and power management, workflow reliability, budget you need for upgrade paths and quality metrics. Wow. Is this not mind-boggling?
Yeah, are you sure that this wasn't your assistant just typing it up while we're talking for that 5 minutes?
No way.
So not a chance. Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have any audio. We had everything muted. That was visual only.
That is amazing. Mind-blowing, like you said.
Yeah. So it's like, can you imagine this like on a punch walk or even like these box walks that we have with our clients that, hey, we're pre-box walk, like before you guys show up, like here is, just check this out. This is what you're walking into. Review this before you come out. Architect, engineer. I mean, we have teams that literally fly from all over the country to architects, engineers to come to the projects that they have in various areas of the US. So
for a 2-hour meeting.
Yeah. And it's like flying in, flying back, or flying to the next stop. So having that kind of preemptive, or even during or after, just documenting that whole process, and then AI going. And I'm wondering, like, if we can even have the blueprints. I don't know how much it would be able to recognize, like, hey, this, you have electrical outlets here or data that's missing here.
Just take a few photos of your blueprints and put them right into the mix there, and AI will review it. I mean, you guys saw what I did in, 60 seconds or less from Asheville, North Carolina to Orlando, with you just doing a quick turn in the studio, and what type of report you got just from that. Imagine a bit more data and a better prompt, and it'll blow your mind. Yeah. And those box walks won't even be that hard to do. And now you can do box walks, saving that trip in the plane, and have someone who's already on property walk around. Hey, look up there, laser guide them around, and then keep the mics going, talking through it, feeding that AI. Well, I see this. I need to look at this. Let's go over there and look at that. And because you can upload, 30-second video, hour-long video, 10-hour-long video, as long as it needs to be, right? That 2-hour walk around, you can upload that entire 2-hour video right into the cloud live while you're doing it, and then run it through AI. Might take the AI, a couple hours to review it, but this is the kind of stuff where we're headed.
Just, kind of trigger something in my head, and maybe it already is, or maybe it's in the works, but is there a way, like, box walk? I take pictures of the plans to allow for the AI to review it, whatever. Is through the video, is it able to distinguish heights or locations or things of that nature?
Yep, it can do a lot of that. Sometimes it struggles with heights, but it still puts it in there. Like, we did an entire commercial remodel of a guy that, he was up in a New Jersey area, walked around his entire office, and I pretended to be a commercial remodeler, and it was telling me the sizes of the cubicle, size of the space, height of the ceiling, gave me an entire budget, and then it gave me a timeline of how long it was going to take. I mean, you got to push this thing, see what it can't do. You know, again, what we still require after you get the output is that an expert reviews that box, reviews everything to make sure it's, you know, on point, and then ultimately updating and redoing the refinements, right? If you find that, oh, that measurement doesn't look right, so then again, call someone who's already on property, get them to take the measurement for that part, and then move forward and update that, because you can copy this entire output and paste it wherever you need to.
Yeah, I think I'm with your mechanical vendor. Let me know when you guys are offering stock.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, mind blowing is, I think, the right word to kind of capture what you guys are doing. It really is fascinating. I know I've been looking forward to this conversation, and really, you know, since you and I have talked, just the advancements that you're shown with the AI is really incredible. What's the best way to have people find out more about what you guys do, or reach out to you specifically, or what's the best way?
Yeah. So the best way is LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn, look up James Hatfield, look up LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch. Reach out to me directly. I've told Dave I will take care of anyone listening personally. You can come right to me, or you can go to liveswitch.com, click on demo, request, hey, I want to talk to James, and I'll walk you through any and everything personally. I won't farm you off to my sales team, although I love them and they will take great care of you. I want to make sure that you're able to talk to someone who used to own and operate businesses and walk you through everything that I walked Dave and Ken through today.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, James, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing this. And yeah, for anyone watching, please reach out to James. I mean, there is, to his point, it's, let's figure out what this can't do, and really push the limits of what's possible. So thanks again, James, for coming on.
Thanks, James.
Appreciate you having me. And I'll leave everyone with one challenge. Don't be a dead end. What I mean by that is run a relay race. You got, whether it's this podcast episode or a different one that Dave and Ken have put on, I want to challenge you. So don't even bother reaching out to me if you haven't shared, right? Share this with a friend, share it with a colleague, you know, put it on your social, let people know, you know, Dave and Ken aren't making millions from this. They're just giving back to their industry. They care about their industry, and the least we can do is pass it on to at least one other person. So thank you guys for what you guys are doing for the industry. You're really helping us change the game.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys on the next episode.